What's up? I want to talk about breakups today. This is Janelle Clander. If this is like a new face for you, I'm Janelle. And I want to talk about breakups today because in the last few weeks there have been a wave of breakups, we'll say, and a lot of people have come to me. And first, I just want to share my most recent breakup experience. Last year, I was broken up with, and I could say I didn't see it coming. I mostly didn't see it coming. I was in a relationship with someone that I felt like I had amazing chemistry with, and for the first time in my life, I really saw a future with this person, and we get along really great. And that's why I didn't see it coming, because for me, whenever breakups have happened in a relationship, it's like the relationship feels like it's starting to die, and then fights are coming, but it was a struggle for me because I saw that he was struggling with depression and anxiety, and I was doing my best to support him while he was pushing me away. And I knew that he had to deal with what was coming up. I just didn't think that he was going to push me out of his life in that process. So, when I got the phone call, because it was over the phone, that he just says that he can't do this anymore. I felt like a semi hit me. I felt like I was hit by a semi. And so a part of me didn't see it coming, and yet, because there were so many things aligned with us. There's I predicted when we would meet, like a year and a half prior. I was told in meditation when I would meet him. And there's just a lot of synchronicities of things lining up, and it felt right. And I really felt like this was a path that we could go on. And yet I could feel him pulling away with his own stuff coming up for him the last few months we were together. And as much as I didn't see it coming, the week before it happened, I had a dream that we broke up, and there was other guys that I was with, not at the same time, but that would be fun. And then he actually came back in my life, and it was just like a really interesting dream of, okay, we broke up, I was with other people, and then he wanted to come back in my life. So I don't know if that's actually happened, but that was a dream I had even before it happened. So part of me, my higher self was letting me know what was up. But so what do you do when someone leaves you, especially? I mean, breakups I think are a lot easier when you're the one leaving the person. It doesn't make them easy, but I've definitely been on both sides, and I feel like it's easier when you're leaving. So, I've been through too many breakups to even want to admit at how old I am and how long relationships have lasted. So I'm like, okay, I have more tools than I've ever had before. So right away, I cleared my schedule, and I just did a lot of meditation, ritual, and prayer, and crying. A lot of crying, journaling, and I got a energy healing session within 2 days of it happening. That allowed me to feel a lot more in my body, because I just wasn't grounding. I wasn't grounded, and that's where a lot of the anxiety was coming, that I wasn't grounded. So 2 days after that, I had another session, and it was actually a distant session. It's called the Spark of Life. It's a session I do, but I had a friend send it to me from Austin, Texas. So he was in Austin, I was in Minneapolis. And during this session, I just felt some agitation, I'm like wanting to open my eyes or like look at my phone. Like I want to look at our last text messages together because that's what like I'm obsessing over. And then the session ended and I got up and all of a sudden I just felt like this like rush of powerful, energizing, I felt really, really good. And all of a sudden I just like I had all these realizations. Okay, so the first was like, oh my gosh, like, I know he wants to be with me and I know this, I have compassion for where he's at. And because of that, I feel like I'm not angry at him in this moment. I really have compassion for where he's at and really still loving him and giving him space. And he may still want to be with me and he may not. And if he doesn't want to be with me, then I know that there's so many other people out there that I can connect with. And when you're with someone, it's like all the love that you have for them is just your own love anyway. And that process of falling in love is really the process of falling in love with yourself, because you're finding someone who really sees you. And it feels good to be seen, and you're falling in love with yourself as much as you're falling in love with them. And I just felt amazing. So I got on my phone, I made a video because I knew I was feeling on top of the world in that moment. And it was like 4 days after my boyfriend broke up with me. And I was like, okay, I gotta remember this. I gotta remember the vibes that are happening right now because I'm gonna need this reminder later on. So I made a video of just saying everything that I just told you, plus some other stuff. And I did watch it a lot throughout the process. But self-care was huge for me with the breakup. And as much as it was in some ways the shittiest breakup, because there's like a lot of grieving of that possibility of what could have been, because I don't think things are written. Like things aren't necessarily certainly going to happen, but there was a possibility with him more than I have ever felt with anyone else from my past. And, choices were made, and that's okay. That I don't have to be upset with him for making these choices. And that I think we have this choose your own adventure style in life where we can choose that next adventure if that person makes a different choice, and it's all okay. And I'm okay, and I know these are reminders that we need to tell ourselves after a breakup, because it can be shattering that this person in our life, so close to us, our best friend, someone that we're so emotionally corded to. I mean, I've been gradually letting go of these emotional ties to this person, and just recently I've let go of some more ties. Because when you're really corded to someone, you can so easily tune in to where they're at and tune into their energies a lot easier. I mean, you could still do it with anyone, but when you're corded to them, you can really feel that. So I feel like this past year, I could so easily tune into him and just understand where he was at. But in the summer, I just knew it wasn't serving me anymore, so I kept cutting more and more and letting go. And breakups are a process, that they don't just happen overnight. And because of it, I felt like I have grown so much from the process. And I wouldn't have been able to grow as deeply if it didn't happen. When I was really aware of the suffering story that I was telling myself, being conscious of it, I was getting regular energy healings mostly every week, meditating daily, doing my rituals, doing prayer. And this was allowing me to be in a really good space. So I was living less from up here and more from right here. So when I would get a wave of anger or sadness, I would surrender. And I would just take a breath and just feel it. And I don't even know how to explain it, because I had never experienced it in my entire life. But when you're not up here as much and you're here and you're experiencing those strong emotions coming through you, if you just truly surrender, then it will leave your body so quickly. You like feel it really fully, and then it's gone. And then it's like, it just literally like shoots out of your body within 30 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever it is, all of a sudden it's gone. And it like really, really is gone. And then afterwards I would feel like, whoa, I feel good after just like allowing that to happen. I don't even know, like I've heard of that, like feel your, and I say to people all the time, like feel your feels, allowing them to release, but now I feel like I'm just beginning to understand what that actually means from having this breakup. I don't know if I would actually experience that otherwise, at least not now. So it's really powerful because when we have the sadness after a breakup, right, there's a part of it that's like, no, I don't want this and I'm sad, and that is creating suffering. We're having some suffering story up there that is prolonging it, right? And when we can get out of this and just really just truly feel and be open, that's when shit can move, and we don't have to be. Yes, it's completely normal to be sad, and I like fully encourage, like I created a digital program to help people get through breakups some years ago. It's not online right now, but something I talked about in there was to allow yourself to cry as much as possible. So really, like if the tears are there, then they need to be released. So cry, or sob, whatever. And then go back to that surrender, right? Even while you're doing it, surrendering, letting go. So that way, when you're done crying, you're going to feel a lot better. Because there's a different chemical makeup in tears from sadness. And when they release